Richard, thanks very much for joining us today. Technology has been playing an ever kind of bigger role in terms of our personal lives. How do you see that developing in terms of our commercial and business lives?
Well, that is changing, and that is changing rapidly. People in their personal lives have becoming much more aware that you can get answers to questions that are, most pressing. You can get online within a second. That instant gratification transforms your expectations that you have on the real issues in your business life. When you have questions about the overall performance of your portfolio, for example, or you have a very, very detailed question about the payment behavior of a certain tenant, people start to have the same expectation. You want instant gratification, you want the answer, it needs to be correct, but most of all, you want the answer now.
What we've been seeing in the market anyway is a big explosion in terms of prop tech, especially in the retail sector. Do you see that kind of data explosion as something that's going to drive sort of activity? How do you see the data really in that retail sector?
Yes, I think, Yardi is trying very hard to be a front runner in this whole process. Traditionally, we are a property management software solution, but I dare to say that we're not anymore. We are much more than that, because it's not only about generating, lease data and tenant data and property data, because that's all data, and at that moment it's not more than just data. The question is, what do you do with that, and how can you make that, and how can you get value out of these data, not only for yourself but also for our clients, retail owners and operators, for example. And it goes much broader than that, where traditionally information that our clients were interested in are sales numbers from the tenants, or sales numbers per square foot or square meter, which would traditionally give a good understanding of the health of the property and the health of the tenants. But now it goes much further. It's not only footfall, but it's also understanding, why the visitors go left and not right. It is about maximizing the rental value or the income out of a shopping center by looking for less traditional ways of generating money, and that might be in a billboard, or that might be in more interactive advertising on places in a shopping center that were traditionally unused. So there is a lot going on, and it's all about facilitating the visitor and using those data to facilitate the tenant. And we are in the middle of that, I would say, transformation in finding out what the role of a shopping center and what the role of a shop is compared to online e-commerce sales. And the data that is required in this new role for this particular shop, in this particular shopping center, in this particular area, with this particular demographics, etc. So we are in the middle of a situation where retail operators and owners are trying to find the new KPIs to get the most value out of their property. For example, in the Middle East, the Yardi software is being used by the largest shopping centers in the world, and shopping centers like the Mall of Dubai, for example, are at the forefront of using all these data to create the best understanding possible about visitors and also potential visitors, because that's what it's all about as well.
So does that mean you're becoming much more of in a way, a technology solution rather than a back office solution?
Yes, absolutely. I would say that the back office, although very important, is just the basis. It is what you do with all those data that are being generated and that are being kept and maintained in the back office. It is about being provided that information to the right recipients at the right time and in the right format. And this is much more about, a smart little app or a cool looking dashboard. Yeah? Although important, because the information needs to be provided in the right format, but it needs to be, it's all about the type of data that is being generated and that is being presented. And like I said, it is we're in the middle of this process finding out what these KPIs are. It's very interesting times because a lot of things are evolving in this matter. This tech revolution makes it possible to generate a lot of data and providing that to anyone who is interested. But there's this transition going on in finding out what these data are, what these KPIs are, and how they need to be presented.
Do you expect to see that, particularly for the retail space, continue to grow at that level?
Yes, I think that we are very close to consider a retail operator like a data company, and you know that might be applicable to all real estate owners and operators, but especially in retail, because there's because the interaction between the owner, the operator, the retailer and the visitor is a very interesting one, but mostly because there's a lot of data available about this particular visitor. So when owners and operators are becoming data companies, Yardi sees itself definitely as the provider of all these data, not necessarily only about the property itself, but in a much broader context with benchmarks, with comparable properties, comparable portfolios. That's what it's all about, and that's what we're striving towards.
PropTech and data, I think, are going to be one of the hot topics and big trends over the next kind of 12 to 24 months. And thanks very much, Richard, for sharing your views with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.